Hi, thank you so much for joining my channel. I am so happy to have you here. Before we get into my latest and greatest video, I just wanted to ask a massive, big personal favor. So I love bringing content to you, and it fills my heart with so much joy knowing that it gives you value and gives you insight, and you're able to create beautiful, amazing costumes or clothing with either my patterns, my free tutorials, or even just my fabric hauls. I would love it if you hit the subscribe button, the like button, comment, or shared my video. That would mean the world to me, because then I know that I'm reaching you, and it literally just, it really helps me go a little bit further and give more. And I've got so many plans to give more. I just want to know that it's what you need. So if you do need more from me, please hit the subscribe, the like, make a beautiful comment, and I will do everything in my power to bring great value content to you. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Have a beautiful day and enjoy the video. And thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to share this episode with you because we're going to go deep into sewing sequins. It's I know it's the topic that can really question your sanity, especially when you're just learning to sew sequins. It doesn't come easy, let me tell you. I have had so many meltdowns, breakdowns. I've even questioned my own line of work as a designer with sewing sequins. So if you're stuck and you're just kind of questioning yourself at the moment, this episode is definitely for you. I'm going to go through all my favorite tools and just little bits and pieces that will just help you gain more confidence in sewing sequins, because I know it's such a vibe, and literally all the pole wear brands are bringing out sequin leotards, sequin bras, sequin bikinis. And my job is to teach you how to actually make what brands sell. And I'm going, because that's what I do. Basically, I make what brands sell, and I'm just one person. And they are a factory, or they are just multiple people kind of pulling together as a team. I am a team. And if I can just make what brands sell, so can you. So I'm going to walk you through all of my tricks, all of my favorite things to use to make it really accessible for you. And here's the thing, that everything that I use, you can get at your local sewing shop. If you're in America, I guess it's Walmart or something like that. If you're in Australia, you can get all of this in Spotlight. So yeah, just head to your favorite sewing shop and take my sewing checklist with you, and you are going to be smooth sailing. So let's get started. So I've got a few of my favorite things in front of me that I'm just going to pull up, and it's in no order of appearance. And I will say this, I do have a disclaimer, I'm not endorsed by any of these products. Everything that I use is because I've stumbled across it and it's really worked for me. And it's a brand maybe that I have become to love, like I've come to love, or it's something that I've just tried in the last week and I've fallen in love with it. And I may fall out of love with it next week. So as a designer, I always say, get out of your comfort zone and try as many different things as you possibly can. Because when you do, you are rewarded. And when I say rewarded, you're rewarded with making gorgeous beauties like this. This is the body leotard, and all of this I made myself on a sewing machine. This was made on my sewing machine, not my overlocker. So all of the fun things that I'm going to show you that helped me make this is what I'm here to show you today. But how sparkly is this leotard? It's so beautiful. I'm in love with it. And this material, I love that it doesn't look like an obvious silver. It's more like a chrome silver. It's so beautiful. Oh my God. Giving me happy vibes just looking at this material today. Okay, so how do we make something like this? First of all, if you would like, you can go to the link in bio, go to the leotard wardrobe vault. In there is 7 leotards, and I walk you through step by step how to make these beautiful sparkly costumes. So go for gold, set yourself up for a winning streak in 2026 with the ultimate pole wardrobe that no one else can have but you. All right, so what are my special tools for making this? Okay, first of all, you cannot make sequin leotards unless you know how to cut the sequins. Okay, so my special tool is these. This is no particular brand scissors. There are Fischers. I mean, that's the brand, but it's not actually about that. These pair of scissors I've had for 5 years, and they started off cutting my lycras. So you weren't allowed to use these scissors on anything else but lycra. And then I fell in love with sequins. And to cut sequins, you just need an old pair of blunt scissors. Can you believe that? Just an old pair of blunt scissors. I won't use these on anything else now. They could not cut lycra even if their life depended on it, because the actual blade, can you hear that? It's all jagged because I've used these scissors for sequins, and you could probably see that the blades are already like chunky, all edge sketched up because they've just been used for sequins. So these ones are my winners. So go into your toolbox and have a look for a pair of scissors that you know you will never use again on any other fabric. Like I said, this couldn't cut cotton. This could not cut linen, or definitely not silk. It would ruin it. This is only specifically for sequins. So get yourself just an old pair of scissors, maybe the pair of scissors that you've been using on lycra for a couple of years, and you're like ready to upgrade your lycra scissors to a new pair of scissors, and then your sequins get the hand-me-down scissors. Okay, so that's number 1, is a blunt pair of scissors. Okay, second tool is fold back clips or baby bulldog clips. So I love these. They're so tiny and cute. Look at that. This is what I use to clip my patterns onto the sequin. So I will lay my sequin fabric onto the pattern, and on the edge of the pattern I will put the little bulldog clip on so that it secures the pattern and the fabric together, and that way it doesn't move. So I do use my crystals to keep my pattern still, but I found that when I use my crystals with these little bulldog clips, it's the magic recipe for keeping it in line, because sequin fabric is very loose and it likes to slide a lot. So using a bulldog clip is like a secret weapon when you're making or just lining up your pattern with your fabric, because everyone knows that having a really good amazing leotard means that it's been cut properly, and meaning when it's cut properly, all of the seams are lined up and all the lines are really beautiful. And I owe it to these little bulldog clips, because what they do is they just hold the pattern in place on top of your fabric. And that's essentially what you want it to do. So that's my second favorite tool in my Sequin Toolbox. Okay, that was the second one. The third one is another pair of scissors, and they're tiny. Like, these are my little snips, because when you're sewing at the end, there's these little tails that hang off the end, and I just like snip them off, and they're really quite delicate. I don't know the brand. Oh, it's actually from my makeup brand, Lycon. And so as you can see, my toolbox is actually bits and pieces from just my life travels. So Lycon scissors, but you can have specialty ones as well. Like, these ones are specialty sewing ones, and they are like little snips. These were amazing. These were my favorite, and then they broke. So it doesn't actually work as function. It just doesn't open and close. I don't know why I still have them, but snips, any kind of snips. I got rid of those and went to my beauty box and got these, and now they live in my sewing box. So this is a number 3. So I've done the scissors, the bulldog clips, and the little snips. And then we've got, oh God, this, isn't it? Okay, every time I have to pull this thing out of my toolbox, if you're in the room, run a mile, because this is my seam ripper. Now, seam rippers on cotton and linen, it's so easy to rip a seam, but to rip a seam with sequin fabric is, I don't know, it really teaches you to be patient. You have to learn to meditate. So this little thing, every time I reach for it, I try to really love the fact that I have a tool that helps me rip seams, because it's going to happen. You're actually going to make a lot of mistakes. Even when you are a professional like me, you are still going to need access to a seam ripper. So, and ripping seams on sequin fabric is a real challenge, but you've got to do it. So make sure that you have one of these babies inside your sewing toolbox, even if it's just for sewing lycra or something like that. This is what you need. It's as you can see, you've got like the short end, and then you've got the long end, and you can flip between these two. I use the long end to get underneath the fibers of the thread and rip it. Very delicately, of course, because you want to be able to rip your seams. And it sounds so aggressive, doesn't it? Rip your seams. You want to unpick your seams and make it look as though they have not been touched. So there is definitely a knack to using this tool. Obviously, in the beginning, if you're going to do it for the first time, just be gentle. Allow yourself to do it listening to a podcast or an audiobook, or to your favorite music or something like that. I'm an audiobook person, so I just zone out of what I'm actually doing, listening to a book, do the job properly, and then go back into fixing up the seams. So yes, that is a number 4 in, it should actually be number 1 or number 2, because the scissors are 1. Yeah. Anyway, they're in no order of appearance. You definitely need a great seam ripper though. All right, so moving on. Oh gosh, so many great things. Pins. I have a little pin cushion, then this one just sits on top of my sewing machine. And so as I am taking the needles out of the whatever I'm sewing, I then place all the pins back into the into the little pin cushion. And I've got different sizes because I gravitate towards different sizes for different things. So I will use these tiny little ones, and they are a glass tip. So this is the top of the ball of it is made out of glass, and it's super fine and super sharp. I just use this around delicate areas, but then I will use these ones. They're super long and they have a larger ball. I use these for pinning and matching up seams, so crotch seams and darts and stuff like that. I will use these ones. I don't know why that is. I think it's all personal preference as to your types of needles that you use. But you can see that's the difference in both of those two pins when it comes to it. But I just say have a mix of pins and you'll gravitate towards different lengths and thicknesses and stuff like that to get certain jobs done. But these are the ones that I use for sewing sequins and lycra. They seem to be the great thing that I use, and I can never see like little holes left in any of the fabric because the fibers always bounce back really well after taking the pins out. So that's, I'm gonna move those along. And my favorite, I've probably said this a million times before, but my favorite machine needles are these. This is the organ needles. This is 11/75. I love these needles. They hardly ever break on me and they're super sharp. They also work amazing on sequins and they're amazing on lycra as well. And I discovered these ones about 2 years ago and I've never looked back. And I get kind of anxious if I run, and I can see that I'm starting to run low on these needles. And you can always tell when you need to change a needle because the needle won't go through the lycra properly, or it will start skipping stitches, and that's when you know you have to change a needle because a blunt needle won't go through lycra, but a sharp needle will. So definitely make sure you give these ones a go, and yeah, I'm sure you'll love them. I can't use any other needles now. And if I was to blindly put another needle into my sewing machine, I would know the difference because I just like everything. Scissors have a personality, needles have a personality when you're working with another fabric. So that's why I always say just do everything and test everything and make sure that you're getting to know everything that you're using, because essentially everything has a different personality. These needles in my machine have their own unique personality, but these needles in your machine might not. So it might not be the greatest advice, but it might be. So yeah, give everything a go. Okay, so I talked about this product, I think last week when I was talking about my favorite thread for the overlocker. And I mentioned that this thread is what I put into my bobbin. Few of you were asking about a bobbin. So I'll just show you what the little package looks like first. So this is my bobbin container, and these particular bobbins are for stretch fabric and also for sequin fabric. And I find that having your bobbins separated from other, say, cottons and linens is very important. And this is the reason why I use these bobbins on my stretch sequins and lycra. Pull out one that you can actually see the thread of the black one. So can you see that this is like kind of fluffy, like, and then when you pull it, it goes really skinny and straight. It's fluffy and then it's skinny and straight. So this is the Maxi Lock stretch fabric, and I wind it onto a bobbin, and this is what I use on all my bobbins for stretch and sequin fabric. I could not use anything else. I polyester, like just a normal, I don't have one in front of me, just a normal polyester thread. I would never put that in my bobbin for sequin or for lycra because I feel that it just wouldn't be strong enough. But talking about thread, it could go down into a rabbit hole because thread is it is the most important part of sewing anything because it's what keeps everything held together, okay? So my favorite thread is Renaissance thread, and why I love this is because the middle of this thread is polyester and the outside of it is cotton. Like, it's just such a beautiful fiber to work with. And why I love this is because the outside of it is cotton. You can actually dye it if you wanted to. Like, you can turn it into a different color if that's your jam. I do like dyeing a lot of things. You have to remind me, I have to talk to you about what my favorite dyes are. That will have to be another coming video. But these are the two that I mixed together. So I'll use this on lycra, and this is my bobbin for lycra and stretch. So this is Renaissance thread. You can find it at any good online sewing store. And this is Maxi Lock stretch thread in my bobbin. And again, you can find that in any good online shopping store. So I use these two, but I have a third, and this one is kind of new, but not really. I've used it for about almost a year now. No, I would say just over a year. This is invisible thread, and it's just a synthetic plastic. And if you were to pull it, it would not break. I use that. You probably can't even see it. There you go. Yeah. It's also that Gutermann German thread, which is amazing as well. I use this on my sequins. A lot of my sequins, especially when I'm making bras, because the sequins can sometimes rip even the polyester thread when there's movement, especially dancers, and you do not want to get a call from a dancer saying that thread is broken. So I use this one especially for making bras. It's my #1 thread, and I love making bras. Are my favorite. So I've really had to find the perfect thread. And again, this one, I've tried a few brands and some of them didn't work on my sewing machine or my needle, but I found this one and it worked really well. So hopefully that works for you as well. So this one, it's a must-have to sew sequin fabric. So I'll use this at the top of my sewing machine. This will be threaded through down to the needle. And then in the bottom of my sewing machine is the bobbin case, and that will be the Maxi Lock stretch. So these two would go hand in hand with making sequin fabric. And I always like to match my bobbin fabric, my bobbin color thread to the lining, because then it just looks like a really well finished piece of fashion. And then because this is clear, I don't need to run around looking for so many different colored threads to sew on top, because essentially this will be the thread that you see, but you can't see it because it's invisible. So this is a #1 when it comes to sewing. Okay, so when it comes to sewing these beauties, this one, I used all of those tools to make this leotard. So good luck, go for gold. Got any questions, just write a question in the comments below. And if you're looking to make amazing leotards, that's what I'm here for, because I have spent many decades making leotards for dancing and just for personal fashion choices as well, because they're just amazing. What I love about leotards is the fact that you can get so many beautiful shapes out of them, and they really complement different and all body types as well. So go to the link in bio, check out the leotard wardrobe vault. There are 7 leotard patterns in there at the moment, and next year I'll be updating more. When I go to update more leotards into the leotard wardrobe vault, the price will go up, but if you're already in now, then you get it at the price plus all the free patterns that I'll be adding next year. So head to the link in bio, sign up for the leotard wardrobe vault. We've got some very special things coming in the new year, and I would love for you to be a part of it. So make sure you also subscribe to the emails, and also you can get a free lily crop pattern, which is just a goddess style one shoulder crop that you can wear to the gym, or you can just wear with your favorite pair of pants. It's a pattern that you can download for free, and it comes with a free tutorial to get you started. Any questions, please feel free to just message down below inside the captions, and I will do my best to answer them. Until next time, happy sewing, and I can't wait for you to tag me in all your amazing creations. Have a beautiful day.